Welcome to Medical Mondays. I'm Matthew Bulow, aviation attorney over at Ramos Law. Each week, we're going to be breaking down FAA medical guidelines so pilots know exactly what to expect and how to protect their medical certificate. For our first edition of Medical Monday, we thought it'd be best to start with a high-level overview of the federal aviation regulations that the FAA is actually using to determine eligibility for airman medical certification. Those regulations are published in Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations, or the CFR, under Part 67 specifically. The first thing to notice under those regs is that under Section 67.3, a person who meets the standards is entitled to an airman medical certificate. So if you meet those standards, you get your medical. Next, worth noting is that those standards are nearly identical when applying for a first, second, or third class medical certificate. You'll notice those are listed at 67.107, 207, 307. It's the first number after the dot that tells you what medical class you're applying for. The biggest difference between those regulations at each class really is the eyes and vision standards. First and second class airmen need to have 20/20 distant visual acuity and 20/40 near vision. Third class airmen only need 20/40 distance and 20/40 near vision as well. Everyone holding a medical certificate must have the ability to, quote, perceive those colors necessary for the safe performance of airman duties, end quote. So you can't be colorblind. The regs also outline ear, nose, throat, and equilibrium standards. Those are pretty straightforward. They also list several disqualifying mental health conditions. The first category under that one includes personality disorder, psychosis, bipolar disorder, and substance dependence. The second category is substance abuse. The regulations suggest, though, that substance abuse is only disqualifying if it occurred within the preceding 2 years of your application. Finally, the catch-all under those mental health regs is the one that includes other personality disorder, neurosis, or other mental health condition. That essentially may make the person unable to safely perform the duties of the certificate applied for, which is a determination left entirely up to the federal air surgeon's discretion. So a bit of a catch-all there. There are also several disqualifying neurologic conditions, including epilepsy, unexplained disturbance of consciousness, or other seizure disorder or neurologic conditions. So again, another catch-all in there for the FAA. Disqualifying cardiovascular conditions include myocardial infarction, heart attack, angina pectoris, chest pain, coronary heart disease, and cardiac valve replacement, among others. Finally, the FAA has a huge catch-all, which is general medical condition, which includes diabetes, any other functional, organic, or structural disease, defect, or limitation that may make the person unable to safely perform the duties of the medical applied for. And then kind of tucked into that section is really the biggest catch-all of all of them under the regs, which disqualifies airmen with a history of, quote, medication or other treatment that may make the person unable to safely perform those duties. So medications that the FAA is deemed unsafe. Obviously, those standards that can disqualify many folks there who may want to hold a medical certificate. Fortunately for them, having a disqualifying condition is not the end of the road in that position. Under 14 CFR section 67.401, anyone who doesn't meet those standards for general eligibility to the T may be granted either an authorization for special issuance, or an SI, or a statement of demonstrated ability, a SOTA. An SI is essentially conditions on the issuance of a medical certificate. So with special conditions that as long as you meet those terms, you can maintain your medical. As long as you comply with those and renew your SI as needed, your AME will be authorized to grant a new medical certificate at each physical exam you go to. A SOTA is reserved for conditions that are static or non-progressive, and the airman has proven they are capable of performing the airman duties without endangering public safety. While SIs are usually time limited, SOTAs generally do not expire. Those are one and done kind of things where you really jump through the necessary hoops, whether it's a medical flight test or a medical evaluation. You get the SOTA and then you're done. Your AME can issue the medical certificate for essentially the rest of your life as long as the condition doesn't deteriorate at all. On the other hand, with the SI, airmen need to comply with those SI terms. They must periodically renew that special issuance, usually every 5 years, in order to maintain their eligibility. So that quick overview really covers the basics of FAA medical certification, but trust me, there's plenty more to jump into and explore in both the FARs and the AME guide. So join us for more Medical Mondays and to get in the weeds of that Airman FAA medical certification with us. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when we drop a new video. Comment down below what regs you want to hear next.